From Clarkwoods.com, this is Horribly Off Topic, episode number 204. I'm Chris.
And I'm Steve, and we are again in the air-conditioned room, so we apologize for the loud noise in the background.
Well, Steve apologizes. I apologize for nothing.
Yeah, because you like being cool.
I do like being cool. Well, you know what's cooler than being cool? Ice cold.
I wasn't going to do it.
Did I ever tell you? I did. I know I told you this, but it's been a while, so I'm gonna share this.
It's been a while since Chris told us this fucking story.
One time when I was at a bachelor party for my cousin's then fiance, now husband, we were down in Cary, North Carolina.
Oh, at the Gold Club?
At the Gold Club in Cary, North Carolina.
I've been there.
And I've been there too.
Just not at the same time.
And there was a lovely young black woman who was dancing to not that song, not the one I just alluded to, but a different song by Outkast. The song that has the poo poo in it.
Oh, Roses.
Roses, yes, the song with the poo-poo. And
that's what sparked that whole conversation we had, because we went to a wedding and we heard that on the way to the wedding.
That's what sparked. Oh, that's right.
When we first had the conversation about Outkast and
yes,
yeah,
and the speaker box and the love below and all that grand stuff. But
and then I was called an idiot by one or many of our listeners.
So we're running the risk of being called.
I'm fucking staying out of this one.
Well, the performer, she I don't know if she had picked the song or if it was just what came on. I don't know why you would play that song in a strip club.
No, I mean, it's perfect for when someone's like trying to get pink eye by throwing their eyeball right into someone's butthole.
Well, so she was doing the dance. I believe she took her top off, and then by the time the first chorus came around, and she would wave her hand in front of her nose while shaking her tuchus. So it was she and then I think she alternated with pinching her nose, but like she made that move all kinds of sexy. I'm telling you.
Okay.
I'm telling you that, Steve.
All right. Well, take your word for it.
Those were the days when I went to strip clubs and bachelor parties. So I think we did confirm what I got in trouble for at the end of last episode.
Yeah. Leo was like, "Did you mean to make that a cliffhanger?"
So I'm gonna miss your bachelor party. This is not fair.
We're gonna have to take a Friday off, Chris, and we're gonna have to go down to Legs and Eggs or something.
Okay, because I was like, I had an excuse finally to go back to one of those locales, and
I don't know. Like, I don't even know. I think we're probably stopping there. In our travels while we're up.
Yeah,
I've been informed where we're going. I won't share it with the audience.
All right. Well, yeah, you gotta.
I didn't know if it was a super big surprise. So like.
No. Okay. Well, you gotta save that for the show. Not this show, but for the show after the show.
Well. Oh yeah, because it's a month before the wedding.
Although it will be we'll have to record anyway. No, let's not talk.
Anyway, we could record on that Monday.
I won't. Will I be back? Yeah.
We can just talk about your show.
I'll be back. I'll be back late. But I could come over here at midnight.
We can figure something out. We can record on Tuesday.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's a bummer. I mean, maybe. Do you think there's still people performing to the sounds of Outkast? I mean, because maybe
I think probably other songs besides the Roses song.
Yeah. The Hey Ya. Maybe they still do the Hey Ya.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe they do the. Do they do the? Maybe they do the Let's Get It Started. That's Outkast, right?
You mean Let's Get Retarded? Well, it's funny because that song, like, they have an ad for school supplies or something like that.
Oh,
now.
Really? Yeah.
Like on Hulu, and you don't pay for the. You pay for the non ads.
I pay for the non ads.
But like, they have like "Let's Get It Started" song playing for that particular ad,
Right.
And it just makes it's like
It's
nuts
wrong.
because like it's
That's
a song that is like the radio edit of a "Let's Get Retarded," and
Yeah.
it's just.
Well, it's like when my kids started finding Kids Bop versions of "Forget You" by CeeLo, which is the radio-friendly version of "Fuck You."
No shit.
We've
never talked about this before.
No, this is the greatest hits. We're just rehashing all our
Greatest tits.
our greatest tits.
Did you get titted for your fucks yet?
Did I get titted for my fucks yet? No.
Okay, well, get on that.
My what? What?
Did you get fitted for your tux?
Oh, titted for my fucks. No, I didn't. I need to do that this weekend.
All right, good. Do it before you leave for fucking
Well, that's not till like fucking September.
Oregon.
That's not till September.
And
I
well,
have-
I thought you might be going in a covered wagon.
Oh, I got to worry about the dysentery, and the hawk swooping in and stealing one of my children.
like the Gandalf hawks.
Well, no, wasn't that one of the things in the Oregon Trail that a hawk would come in and steal your children?
Hawks are not that large.
Okay, well, but I think a hawk could just swoop in and steal your
Except
child.
for the Hawk 104.9 Rockin' the Lakes region. That is fucking enormous.
It's nice.
Bringing it back to episode 1.
Yeah, well, it's the enormity of things is very nice. I mean, I think it's nice when things are enormous. It's nice when things are large.
Like our president. I stole that from Crank T. Nelson, but it was paraphrased.
Is he large? He seems like he's a large man.
He gets bigger. He
eats-
McDonald's like he's a regular Joe.
He's like you could have a beer with him.
No, because he doesn't drink. We've talked about that before.
All right, hey Steve.
The last person we could have had a beer with was Obama, and he
yeah.
did drink beer.
He did drink beer. He smoked too for a little while.
yeah.
I don't know. Was he still smoking by the end?
I think he quit cigarette. He smoked cigarettes, mind
Yeah.
you.
Oh, you think he smokes the ganja?
I think he might.
Yeah.
And if he does, good for him.
Yeah. Well, why not? You think he smokes with his daughter?
I
Like,
hope not.
like you think that's a thing?
I think I don't know that like.
Not his younger daughter, but his older daughter. His
No,
older
I
daughter's
mean,
off
like-
to college now. She's like a sophomore or junior.
I don't know. Like, I think, like, maybe I'm putting a higher standard on being a president, and
Yeah.
like, after what we've had for the past 2.5 years or so,
Yeah.
that seems like an unrealistic expectation. But maybe,
Maybe.
just maybe, presidents shouldn't smoke pot with their daughters.
Well, better than if they smoke crack with their daughters.
Well, I don't
I mean,
think
I think
I don't
that's-
imagine
Well, you
our
don't
former
think-
president would smoke crack.
You don't think W ever smoked crack with his daughters?
I think he only did coke.
Oh, okay, I think we've talked about that too.
Yeah.
What's the difference between crack and coke, Steve?
Crack is cheaper, and you smoke it as opposed to snort it. But I think you can also smoke cocaine. I'm not like an avid drug user, so I don't
Right.
know these things.
Well, I just.
So if anybody is a junkie out there, please let us know.
Yes, I mean, I would never do crack. I would never do crack. I would never do a drug named after a part of my own ass. Kind of a personal guideline, if you know what I'm saying.
I was listening to something recently, and I forget who it was talking about how they hate Dennis Leary
I was wondering whether or not you got it. Yeah, they hate Dennis Leary.
because he is like basically doing Bill Hicks's act.
Mm-hmm.
And if Bill Hicks had survived,
Yeah.
would Dennis Leary have been as successful? And I don't think so.
No, I don't know that much about Bill Hicks, but I had friends who I trust and who I find to be very, very intelligent people who felt exactly the same way. That doesn't stop me from appreciating Dennis Leary. That,
I mean,
that
I don't-
album was a touchdown in my young life.
Yeah, I mean, I think people about our age probably. I mean, I got introduced to Bill Hicks when I was in my 20s, so it's not like I was like because what No Cure for Cancer came out in like '93, something like that.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
So I was like, I was a freshman in high school, so
Yeah.
that was like the perfect time for shit like that.
Right? Yeah.
So I had no idea that a Bill Hicks album existed or whatever. Because they were playing fucking "I'm an Asshole" on WAAF.
rolling down the street.
Yeah, you don't have to sing the song.
But no, I'm supposed to sing the song. Why don't you sing the song, asshole? Or pal. Why don't you sing the song, pal?
No.
Yeah. Old-fashioned, non-biodegradable containers.
Stop it!
Do you remember those? I mean, I'm serious. Do you remember?
I thought you were fucking trying to do the song.
No. Do you remember the McDonald's containers, the styrofoam containers?
Yeah, like the one that like the McDLT.
Yeah. I mean, they all came in that for a while, right? Like that's how you knew you were moving up. I mean, now it's paper containers, so you kind of know. But I remember as a kid, probably the first time I ever had a quarter pounder. I think the quarter pounder came in one of the styrofoam containers as opposed to the paper wrap.
Do they still?
Like, ooh, I'm a big kid now.
Do they still do like the hotcakes in the styrofoam thing?
I think hotcakes. I've only gotten them like once because we were trying to get something for the kids that they would eat.
Do your kids like pancakes?
Yes.
So homemade, and if they go out to a diner or whatever.
Yeah, pancakes are generally a thing that Melody will eat.
Wow. Okay. Wow. I would have been very disappointed in your parenting if your kids didn't like pancakes.
Yeah. No, they both like pancakes. In fact, Melody, the younger one, got up early yesterday and badgered my mom downstairs until she got pancakes. Kaylee slept in. And
that's me every weekend with Becky.
Kaylee slept in, and it wasn't until later in the day that Kaylee saw the leftover pancakes, and at dinner time she playfully got mad that nobody woke her up to get her pancakes.
See, well, like no, she snoozed and loosed.
She snoozed and loosed. Yeah, she did. You know, it's. I gotta tell you, Steve. I gotta tell you. Last night, talking about snoozing and losing.
But you get your hand out of the way of the microphone.
Or
you
losing
said you
and snoozing. Okay, so last night, my younger daughter decides that she does not want to sleep in her bed because she has seen a spider or an ant or something around there. We proceed to try and calm her down and tell her, well, then when calming her down doesn't work, we start talking to her about how, like, maybe if you cleaned up your room a little bit more, maybe the ants wouldn't come in here. So she decides she's not sleeping in her bed. She does not want to sleep in next to my wife, which I say, go ahead, you can do that. She instead decides she's going to sleep in the chair.
Bugs don't get in chairs, so she makes good sense.
So, okay, so then I go to put my older daughter to bed. Now, my older daughter is now freaked out that she's in her bedroom by herself, so she decides that she's going to go sleep next to my wife, which is what I had offered my
Did you sleep in the other room by yourself?
So I had to go sleep on my older daughter's bed, and then in the middle of the night, I woke up and I realized that my wife was sleeping in my younger daughter's bed. Because I think my younger daughter had gotten out of the chair, found it uncomfortable, and then so she got into where my wife sleeps. And so my wife and I were sleeping in our children's beds, and they were sleeping in our bed.
You played musical beds.
Musical beds. It was... That sounds like it...
That sounds dirty, yep.
That sounds dirty. That sounds like a variation...
Don't talk about musical beds when you're talking about your children, Chris.
Sounds like a variation of the...
Don't make jokes about pedophilia.
The keychain game, right? Is it the keychain game? No.
I don't know what that is.
What is that? Everybody puts their house keys in a bowl. This would be musical beds, I think. In the 70s, this is what they called it. Was the keychain game or something like that. And you put all your keys in there, and then I think it was probably the fella. I think because it was always, the fella would go and he would pick out one of the keychains, and whoever's keychain it was, he would go sleep with that guy's wife.
Wow, that's neat.
And then it sort of.
How did AIDS happen again?
No, I would never want to make a joke about
AIDS or pedophilia.
About pedophilia, no. I think that would be dangerous to my future career as a I don't know. I feel like maybe joking about pedophilia is a bad idea.
I like. What was that one? But like the guy, or there's one where the guy's walking in the woods with the kid.
Mm-hmm.
And the kid goes, I'm scared.
Oh,
and he goes, you're scared. I got to walk back by myself.
Oh, man.
That old chestnut.
God. Okay.
So, James Gunn.
James Gunn.
About
apropos
maybe
of nothing. I mean, he
9 years ago, when Twitter was first becoming a thing, he made inappropriate jokes. A guy,
James Gunn,
mind you, that directed Slither, and also worked for fucking Troma.
he made inappropriate jokes.
Yeah, who would have fucking thought?
I don't know. Maybe Disney would have thought that before hiring him for the first Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, or the second.
Or the second.
But then right-wing fucking assholes that are trying to use the left's same fucking get people fired nonsense
Against them.
Mm-hmm. Just because they fucking feel like it, because they're like, oh, well, this person criticizes the fucking president, so obviously they need to go away.
Yeah.
They need to be fired from their cushy Marvel superheroes movie.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. It was, when did that news broke on Friday? Was it Friday?
I don't know. It was sometime this past week.
I think it was Friday, because I found out about it just as I was getting into the car. I think I'd been off Twitter, I'd been off whatever. I was getting in the car to go home, and I found out about it. Oh yeah, because I was letting my car cool off, because my car had been sitting out in the heat all day.
So you started it up with the AC on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm standing outside, and I see this tweet talking about got the talking raccoon guy fired, and I was like, what? What is he talking about? And so then I had to scroll and find out. And yeah, I mean, I could not. It really bothers me. I mean, I read some of the stuff that he said, and my initial reaction was like, well, fuck, James, you shouldn't have said that shit. But then,
yeah, he shouldn't have said that shit fucking 9 years ago.
That's what I'm saying. My initial reaction was, they got me, right? My initial reaction was the guy's intent did exactly, I felt, and this is probably why I felt so mad all weekend, was because I fell for it initially.
Yeah.
By the time I got home, I was I had like a 45 minute hour drive. By the time I got home, I'd come around to my senses and realized like the position that I'm in now, which is that I don't think somebody should be fired for things that they said 9 years ago. If he'd actually committed any of these acts.
Yeah. Get rid of him. Right. Obviously.
But he didn't.
He made bad jokes.
Yeah.
Like, fucking people do that all the time. Like, every time I've gone to a comedy club, like, someone's made a fucking risque or, like, being right on the line of, like, really inappropriate joke.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, if you go to see, like, a comedian like a Jim Norton, he's going to make a fucking joke like that. And if you go there, like, if you go to a Jim Norton show, you fucking, like, get all in a huff because of, like, a fucking inappropriate joke, that's your fault, not Jim Norton's fault. Yeah. Jim Norton is doing what he likes doing.
Yeah.
And fucking making jokes the way he wants to make a joke.
Yeah. No, and then the other part of that is the sort of hypocrisy of Disney. Now, I'm a Disney fan. I think anyone who's listened to this podcast
knows
that I'm a Disney fan. But so I just want to reiterate that so that you can put it in context. I mean, I think it's so hypocritical for Disney to be shitting on James Gunn when this is the same company that made Song of the fucking South. Like,
and I think there was because I was reading a little bit about it today, and what is it, Bobcat Goldthwait, who's I think good friends with James Gunn.
Yeah.
Like he was basically saying, all right, Disney, you fired this guy. I want my voice removed from all your fucking theme park attractions because he was one of the fucking guys from Hercules.
Oh, really?
One of the voices of the little devil guys.
Okay, I didn't.
And he's like, hey, maybe you should think about James Woods, one of the actors that was also in that movie, said some pretty fucking horrific things on Twitter. And if you're gonna be, if you're not gonna be hypocrites about this, you should fucking, remove him from all your shit too.
Yeah, get somebody to re-record all his dialogue.
Right, like, because he said far worse fucking shit.
And he said far worse. He's not trying. I mean, the other thing that's important here
is intent.
Is not just intent, but James Gunn is trying to be a not that even the guy who said those things 9 years ago is a bad person, but he's trying to be he's a sweetheart. He's a good person, but
he also like is very subversive, and like with the evidence, like you don't end up making films with trauma if you're gonna if you're not like a subversive individual.
Well, Sean Gunn his brother had a series of tweets that I read last night or this morning, where he talked about, I think it was in Sean Gunn's series of tweets that I read this. We talked about the notion that James, for a long time, thought that his edge was all he had to offer, and that he realized somewhere in making the first Guardians film that he was more than just his edginess.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think anybody that's done humor in their lives, and I think my humor has definitely progressed over time. Yeah. I was definitely, like, when I was doing stand up, like a lot of my jokes were a lot more shocking. Well, not necessarily shocking, but it was like, just sort of like inappropriate and or gross, and that was the joke.
Right.
I mean, some of them were actually like somewhat witty and or thought out. Yeah. But like a lot of it was just like, just kind of get a cheap laugh off of like something gross.
Yeah. I don't know. The whole thing bugs me. I mean, getting beyond...
And I had like a 10-minute bit about fucking calendars.
Getting beyond like the stupidity of Disney for doing it, like, or getting to a different angle on it. That entire franchise is so James Gunn's voice that I don't know what they're thinking, because he was going to make the third one. He was going to make the third Guardians film. Some people don't like the second one as much as the first one. That's fine. But the whole thing as a trilogy, all of those characters, it's him. How do you... I mean, and people could point to Infinity War and say, well, there's an example of filmmakers who took those characters and did something interesting with them. Yeah, but they had James Gunn as a consultant.
Yeah, he was like a part of that film. It wasn't like he was just like, oh, well, do whatever you want.
It's, his voice is all over that shit. And I understand it's a corporate thing. So you think, oh, I can make, we can just hire anybody. But you can't. Like, you really can't. Whoever they hire, they're going to make a third one. And if they hire somebody else to do it, I just don't see... I don't see how...
I mean, it might still be good. It might still... You're going to go see it because you see every fucking Marvel movie.
Yeah, no, I will.
I'll probably see it as well. I'm not going to boycott it or anything.
I mean, I went and saw Ant-Man, even though I was pissed off that Edgar Wright had gotten fired. Or they separated. I don't know how that... I can't remember how that one went down.
So it's just... It's something that started like around the beginning of this show, when and fucking Anthony Cumia getting fired. Yeah. Like he got fired for shit he said on Twitter. Mm-hmm. Like, was it inappropriate? Yes. Right. Was it something that I agreed with? No, not at all.
Yeah.
Did I think he should have been fired? If you didn't think that the crazy racist shit he was saying on his fucking radio show every fucking day wasn't enough to fire him, why was the crazy fucking racist shit that he said on Twitter one time enough to fire him?
Yeah.
Like, just fucking, like, if like the ratings for their show were plummeting, that's a good reason to fire them. Like, and if people like got angry and said, I'm not going to listen to this show anymore, and then the next, because like, with satellite radio,
right,
the next block comes out, oh, fucking people aren't listening to this anymore. I guess we should fire him because he fucking damaged himself that bad. But doing it instantly on like the knee-jerk reaction of a bunch of people screaming about it on the internet isn't necessarily the right way to do it. It's not the right way to do it when it's fucking someone that you hate, and it's not the right way to do it when it's somebody that you like.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's funny because like like my feelings about Anthony are like so conflicted because like he brought me so many fucking laughs over the years because he's a genuinely funny guy.
Right.
And when him and Jim Norton were together, they would often like play off each other and make really good comedy.
Right.
But now that he's making fucking like right-wing propaganda videos in his fucing basement, like he's not funny anymore, and so I'm not interested in that.
Yeah.
And so like whatever. And
yeah,
Jim does the show with fucking Sam now, and it's not the same because he doesn't have Anthony to play off of anymore.
Right.
Sam's okay.
Yeah.
He used to be their fucking intern that did fucking videos for them.
Yeah. It's funny to me that a show that started off as Opie and Anthony then became Opie and Jim, and now is Jim and Sam. Like
Yeah.
That's strange to me.
But yeah, I mean, like, so. But he's just like he's such a shithead, like.
Yeah.
That he just bugs me with his politics, and and he was so funny, or he was often so funny. I was like, okay, I'm ignoring it because there's at least like some voices of reason around him saying, stop being such a racist asshole.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, maybe we're quicker. I don't know. Something that's the idea is not fully forming in my brain, but the notion that we're finding out quicker who people are. I don't know. I'm thinking about like the fact that I didn't, but a lot of people sat there and watched The Apprentice.
I watched one episode of it.
When our jackass president was on there. And people laughed, or they had their memes, or their whatever, you're fired stuff, and dealt with it because he entertained them. And now,
well, we can just blame NBC for the reason why we have the shittiest president ever.
We can. I would
because they put that goddamn show on the air and like brought him out of, like, again, like he was probably done. He was probably done, like, as far as being a public figure.
Right.
But we just brought him back out of obscurity. He and so we have NBC, the libtards at NBC, to thank for our shithead president.
WNBC.
But yeah, so those are my feelings about the James Gunn thing. I mean, like, it's ludicrous to do it. Like, if there's so much of an outcry, and the kind of people that
there wasn't.
There wasn't.
The outcry was on Thursday night, right? Like, that's when it all, or Thursday night into Friday. I didn't hear one word about it until I heard he was fired.
And it's just like, what the fuck? Like there are going to be people, Disney, that like are libtards like us.
Yeah.
That aren't going to go see the movie because of this.
Right.
So you're basically shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no. I think the correct one would be cutting off your nose to spite your face, because it's the people that are trying to get James Gunn in trouble.
Right.
Like, if they either would go to see the movie or would never have seen the movie in the first place.
Right. The other thing I think we can talk to her blue in the face about this, but I mean,
you are turning blue. Violet, you're turning violet.
The person that's responsible for their entire fucking Marvel franchise, Robert Downey Jr., is a guy who's been to jail. Like, he's been through his share of shit. I'm not saying he's ever made pedophilia jokes, but like,
he might have. If he did, fine.
If shit came out today about Robert Downey Jr. did in the 80s or 90s, like, would they fire him? Would they fire fucking Iron Man? I don't know. And then
they might.
It's I don't know. I would think if you're the Russo, I mean, and the thing is all it would take is a unified front on a few actors' parts, and he could get rehired. I mean, I honestly think if you just get you get the entire cast of that movie to refuse to show up for anybody else, or to refuse to show up for reshoots for Infinity War this year. I mean, for not Infinity War, but Avengers 4, whatever it's called. You know, it wouldn't take much. I mean, they somebody needs to put their foot down.
Yeah, but
and
like
get this guy rehired. That's my thought.
But there's going to be that salt factor from James that, like, okay, you fired me for fucking nothing. Something you, like, if you had vetted me, like, correctly to work on family-friendly Disney shit, you would have already fucking known about this.
I read something in passing that suggested that they did vet him back before the first Guardians came out. And they decided he was fine. But now, in this particular moment, you know, I don't know. I just want the guy back. Like, I understand he made...
Baby, come back!
I understand he made dumb jokes 10 years ago.
I make dumb jokes every fucking week.
Yeah.
I don't want to be fucking fired for it.
No, I don't either. I make dumb quasi-jokes.
Yes.
And
sometimes share too much.
Every week. Sometimes I share... often. Often I share too much. Let's say often.
Yeah.
That's probably fair.
on a weekly basis.
On a weekly basis. Let me tell you about my spare No.
Spare room?
My spare That's what Mr. Tumnus thinks Lucy's saying in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. That she comes from spare
I just... Okay.
You said something about your spare room. Your spare
No, we don't.
No, we don't. Okay.
That's an easily skippable thing.
Easily. All right. Well, you know, we're only halfway through the show. I want to give you.
You want me to rant more about
No.
No.
I went to the zoo.
Oh, you did?
I went to the zoo. Yeah, it was fun. It was have you ever been to Franklin? Have you ever been to the Franklin Park Zoo?
I might have when I was a kid. I've been near it.
Yeah.
As an adult, but
it's weird to have a zoo that's like that much green, so close to the city. I find that odd.
I've been to the Stoneham Zoo.
The Stoneham Zoo feels more normal to me. The Stoneham Zoo has a big parking lot. I mean, like Stoneham Zoo, I get it. This one is, I mean, it's near. I don't know. We were driving through West Roxbury, and I had no idea how nice and ritzy parts of West Roxbury are.
Gentrified.
Yeah, no shit. And then we get there, and I guess there was some event happening, and we got there a little past opening, but there was no parking, so we had to park on the street about a quarter mile away, something like that. I don't know. I didn't want to say half mile. It wasn't that far. But it was, and then it's this big green area, of zoo there in the city, in Dorchester.
Dorchester?
Dorchester.
Did you say Franklin Park right?
Franklin Park.
Okay.
Franklin Park in Dorchester.
So, what... I mean, I'm assuming you took the kids. It wasn't just you.
Steph and I were like...
You were being like an animal perv.
Yeah, I want to go see the monkeys beat off.
And you could beating off monkeys.
No, I didn't beat off to the monkeys beating off until I was editing the video the next day.
Oh.
No, I didn't do
Were you
that.
listening to the monkeys while you beat it off to the beating off monkeys?
They made a daydream believer out of me, you know? No, I was not listening.
More like a cream pie believer.
What were you going to ask me?
I have no idea. Okay, so like I want to know, because you had the kids with you. What do you do at the zoo? Like,
I don't know. You feel terrible for the fact that human beings have put animals in cages. Like,
did you give them a peanut?
I did not give anybody a peanut. No.
Not anybody.
I did not give any animal a peanut.
Did you give any human beings that were around a peanut?
I did not give anybody peanuts. You know,
did you like walked up to some stranger and be like, "Hello, friend. Here you go."
Do you have an allergy? No. All right. Here's a peanut. No. So there, you go in and there's a lot of birds up front. At least the way we went. I don't know if we turned the wrong way, but there's a lot of birds right out the gate. And they have a dinosaur something going on, which scared the shit out of Melody. Basically ruined the first part of the day for us because we had taken her on a ride at Universal Studios with a dragon. And the dinosaur part of the park, which was off to the side of the birds, a dinosaur part of the zoo, that is, made sounds similar to the dragon at Universal Studios. And so she was scared shitless of birds. Like, she didn't want to do anything. And then she was scared of, like, the next thing and of the next thing. And finally she, by about halfway through the day, she got into it. But the beginning part of the day was Stephanie and Kaylee going off and looking at exhibits and me trying to calm Melody down.
All right, so I got a question. Like, were you scared of a lot of shit when you were a kid?
I was definitely scared of some shit. I remember being scared, but I couldn't tell you exactly what I was scared of. I was scared of Orson Welles and the nuclear bomb and Nostradamus, thanks to that special that was on in the 80s.
Like,
How old were you?
How old were you when you watched that?
I don't remember, but I do remember. Do you know what special I'm talking about?
I think I do. It was probably maybe the late 80s.
For the listeners who don't, it might have been mid 80s because Orson Welles died in like 86.
The French.
So. Yes, because Transformers the movie was the last thing Orson Welles ever did.
Okay, so yeah, it must have been mid-'80s.
Yeah.
Well, it could have been rerun. I mean,
well, it did get rerun during the first Gulf War.
So that was in the 90s.
But I initially saw it, and I can tell you this because they changed. Anyway, let me start at the beginning. See, so in the 80s I saw it, and it had to have been in the 80s, and it goes through all of his prophecies and tries to link it up with world events and what have you. And it mentions, at that point, a man in a blue turban who will come out of the... I think it was a blue turban. Who will come out of the Middle East.
Or was it an orange turban?
He will start World War III. And then the closing images of the special are an atomic bomb going off and then a field of flowers with nobody... like no human beings to be found. So it's sort of like...
So it's the perfect end to humanity.
Yes. Well, and it's the perfect thing to basically scare me shitless because it made me think about my own mortality and about time in a different way. It really fucked me up as a kid.
All right, so what did you do to get over that?
What did I do to get over that? I went and talked to my grandma.
Okay.
I was lucky enough that my grandma lived upstairs, and so I went and told her how scared I was, and she talked to me about, in whatever way was appropriate, about death and dying and mortality and infinity. And,
all right, so, like...
that nonsense.
Can you use that same wisdom that your grandmother gave you with your daughter when she gets really scared about something?
No, she's not... You can't reason with her. When she gets her mind made up, it's... Well, you can. You can eventually wear her down. But I have not perfected the science of it. She is very, very stubborn.
Is something like, it'd be like, that's just, there's no dinosaurs anymore.
Right. Nope, we tried that. There's
no like hugs? Did the hugs work?
Yeah, no, if I held her close, like, so I would pick her up, which was not good for me because my shoulder, my right shoulder is still fucked up from getting hit by the bicycle 3 months ago. However long it was.
Should have fucking got that guy's insurance.
But I would if I picked her up, I could get her part of the way into certain exhibits, but then, she wasn't feeling it. But I think what finally turned it around was there was an enclosure with lots of small little birds, and the birds didn't.
Small little birds.
Small little birds. It was very cute, and you could get a little stick with something that the birds might want to eat on it. My kids didn't want to do that, so the birds basically kept to the people with the little sticks that had something for them to eat on. So Melody didn't get attacked by the birds, which is what she thought was going to happen, and that kind of calmed her down. And then from then on, she kind of enjoyed things.
So don't show her The Birds, the movie.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that.
You wouldn't watch that anyways, because it's a classic film.
Yeah, I have no taste. And then I spent a lot of time trying to get video of a kangaroo, Steve. They had a kangaroo, and the kangaroos weren't doing jack shit, and all I wanted to do was get a kangaroo.
Put some boxing gloves on him.
Yes. I tried tossing the gloves over. Kangaroo just fucking sat there.
Yeah.
Finally, as my at the end of the day, as my phone's battery was
When
dying,
you put a hat on him and you were like, I like that hat, mate. That's a callback to another podcast that went to Australia. Bonus points if you know what it is.
I don't know what it is.
Well, I'm gonna put
You're
it out there to the
gonna-
listeners.
you're
Hot
gonna-
at clarkwoods.com. I'll
Okay.
give you bonus points.
Yeah, you
which
get a
which
no
are
prize.
absolutely worthless in real life.
I did finally, just as the battery in my phone was dying, get video of the kangaroo hopping at the end of the day. I was very pleased by that. There was a giraffe.
Did you slide down his neck?
I did not slide down his neck, but the fucking giraffe was always at the opposite end of wherever we were.
Or was it a man that ate the ox fruit model giraffe?
What? Do I drink?
Yes.
Okay. There are giraffes on that show, or in that comic.
Yeah.
No.
It's like there's 3 different types of devil fruits. There's paramecia type,
Yeah.
which change your body into something. Luffy, the main character, who's like Mr. Fantastic, is
Right.
like a rubber man.
Yeah.
He ate one of those. There's Logia types, which are you can turn your body into like an element. Like
Yeah.
Luffy's brother Ace ate the flame fruit, so he could turn his body into fire.
Yeah.
And then there's zone types, which
Which turn
can
you into Ranma 1/2.
turn you into animals, basically.
Oh, okay.
And box-shaped giraffes.
Well, speaking of that show's about pirates, right? Yes.
Correct.
We, on the advice of a coworker, we watched the first episode of a show called Black Sails. You ever seen Black Sails?
I have not seen Black Sails.
Black Sails. There was some hot girl on girl action between a lady who like punched a dude out just a few minutes before that.
Were they like pirate scissoring?
And they were. I don't think they pirate scissored.
That's when you scissor as a pirate. If anybody was confused.
No, it's an interesting show. I think it's basically a prequel to, or it operates as a prequel to Treasure Island. So you've got what's his ass?
Oh,
Yeah, and you got the other guy, and you got Blackbeard in there somewhere.
Long John Silver.
Long John Silver. Yes. Silver is he's getting his start in this show, where apparently there's a woman who's in charge of the island that they all hang out on, and she is a badass.
So it's like Saved by the Bell, the college years.
Standing at the edge of tomorrow.
Today.
Did they think? I mean, I think they thought they were going to be able to get by without Kelly Kapowski, and then they realized real fast that wasn't going to happen.
Was Screech on there too?
Screech was on there. The only one that so at the beginning it was the 3 guys, and then you had Lisa, and then you had 2 new girls.
2 new hotties.
Yeah.
Zach and AC Slater needed to fight over.
You had the girl who was going to eventually end up on top of the tower in Independence Day with the sign. That girl, she was the theater major.
Oh yeah.
And then you had a blonde girl who I don't think did anything after the college years.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
But then they had to bring on Kelly Kapowski. They just had to do it.
Did they bring her?
They brought her on.
Well, I think the problem was that Saved by the Bell was a show that was on in the day.
Yes.
And they tried to make a primetime show off of characters.
I was so excited for the Saved by the Bell the college years. I cannot tell you.
Weren't you just starting college or about to just start college?
No, they were.
Because I think that was like 90,
they were older than me. Yeah, I mean, it was like junior or senior year of high school for me.
Yeah, so you were psyched. You were
I
like,
was
I'm going
psyched.
to college soon.
I was like, I'm standing at the edge of tomorrow today.
Yeah, I'm going to Bradford College where they have internet.
They didn't have the internet.
They almost have internet.
Where they drew rainbow-colored chalk outlines of bodies for their spring day, and I thought, damn it, this is a college I want to go to, Dad. I like their sense of humor. That's what I said
sort
to
of
him.
like the gallows humor.
I like the gallows humor of the Bradford College.
All right.
And I went there, and then they fucking closed.
Well, you went there before they closed, so that's good.
I did. You know, I don't think there's anything else to say about the zoo. I don't know. There's one other thing on our list I want to make sure we get to. It is about a sign you saw once upon a time, but I don't know. I don't know. How long
that's not going to take very much.
All right,
time.
so
But I like.
You can ask me more about the zoo because it was the zoo.
I don't know, like as far as attractions like that, like the animals just seem miserable.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people that do good work at the zoo, and I mean, it's good for rehoming animals that maybe can't get back into the wild.
Yeah.
Or something like that, which is where I can see the use of a zoo, but like,
yeah. And I think I get this sense
because we lived in Woburn for forever. The only time I went to the zoo was when I went to community service day through work, and I painted a wall, and then I looked at a lounging bear, and then I went home.
Well, I liked this zoo more than the Stone Zoo.
It wasn't the animal, the bear. It was like a lounging gay guy on the bench.
It was a lounging gay guy. It wasn't a cubby. It was a full grown bear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Grr.
I saw a really hairy guy. He looked like a bear.
What was that from?
Inside Out.
Oh.
Which is set in San Francisco. That line makes me laugh because the implication is that Anger saw a gay man, a large gay man.
You know what?
And they slip that one right in there.
You should take a vacation without the kids. And go to P-Town and go to Bear Week.
Go to Bear Week.
I want you to go to Bear Week. I want a special report from Chris.
Should I grow out my beard and try to blend in?
I don't think you're big enough to pass
Thank
for
you.
a bear.
I'm glad I'm not that big.
So yeah, but you could grow a beard and maybe see what.
I could maybe I'd be a cubby or a maybe there's some word for me.
Yeah.
There's some word for me out there, Steve. It's a straight man.
That's twunk.
A twunk.
I don't even know what that's.
I
don't know what that's a portmanteau of, but there you go.
It's a twink with junk in the trunk. I don't know, a twunk. What would a twunk be?
I don't know.
So twink is like a.
If you have any thoughts of this, you can email us clark@hotwoods.com. I mean hot@clarkwoods.com.
I wonder, like, so a twink is a. I don't know if they're necessarily hairless or if they're just a.
I think they typically are hairless.
Yeah. Like they're usually smaller of frame. Right?
Yeah, sleight of frame I think is I don't know if it's prerequisite, but I think it's pretty much standard.
Yeah. I once heard it was on Kevin Smith's Smodcast where
Does he still do that?
I don't know. I mean, you have a heart attack and maybe you stop. I don't know.
He still smokes weed.
He does some other ones. I know he does like his Fat Man on Batman and other ones. I have.
And he has that show where like his friends that own the comic or that have the comic book shop, and then they.
But I haven't checked in on his stuff in a while. I mean, obviously, like I checked in on what he was up to a little bit after I heard he had the heart attack, but I don't know what he does on a sort of regular basis.
Makes shitty movies.
But he and Scott Mosier got into a
just
conversation.
sorry, Kevin Smith. Your last two were garbage.
Yeah, well, his last few have been garbage.
Or at least the last two.
They were talking about how Mosier was an otter, and I don't remember why it was that Mosier was an otter. Maybe it was because he was closer to the frame size of a twink, but he had the full
facial
beard
hair,
and the whatever. Something like that. I'm curious, like what all the other animals.
Then go to Bear Week
of the gay kingdom.
You'll probably be able to. You'll probably be able to get all the skinny on it all.
Do you think so? I don't know. I'd be afraid that I'd be stealing valor.
Just don't tell people that you're gay.
Okay.
And
but what if somebody hit on me? I don't know what I would do.
just say thank you.
Okay. What if somebody was very direct? If they're like...
People have been very direct to me in the past. Like, they've said that they wanted to suck on my penis.
Oh.
And I've said, no, thank you.
I'm flattered by the offer, but no thanks.
Yeah, it's it's nice that you find me attractive, but I am not interested in having that kind of relationship.
I don't know why I think somebody would hit on me. Why I think a man would hit on me when no woman has ever hit on me.
Well,
so
I think I think men are more aggressive, typically, and so you were probably more likely to be hit on by a man as opposed to a woman.
Yeah, it must
but
be.
That's
nice
a gender stereotype.
It must be nice to get hit on. I think it must be.
I've never been hit on by a woman, so but a couple guys.
Yeah.
Not a couple, not as direct as that.
I need to rephrase that. That sounded terrible. Now that I think about that, I'm not saying that it's nice to get hit on all the time, or even most of the time. I'm just saying there's got to be a certain amount of flatter, because I imagine for a lot of women, it's not nice.
Yeah, because it for a lot of women, it can happen way too fucking much,
right?
And so it can be just fucking shitty.
Yes. So I need
from
to apologize, and I hope that nobody fires me from the podcast for something I said 2 minutes ago.
You don't need to apologize, because from your perspective in life, as someone who has not really been hit on,
right?
Or well, you kind of were during your high school reunion.
That's true. But I didn't have any idea what was happening.
Yeah, because you were fucking oblivious. So maybe you have been hit on, and you didn't even fucking know it.
Okay, maybe.
So for someone who is either oblivious to being hit on or isn't being hit on, it happening once or twice would be pleasant.
Right. Yeah.
So you don't have to apologize for maybe having something pleasant happen to you.
I don't? You mean that something pleasant can happen to me and
or something that you perceive as pleasant could happen?
I thought I had to apologize for ever having joy in my life. That's not a thing?
Nope.
Are you sure?
I'm definitely sure about it, Chris.
I was pretty sure that any time I enjoyed myself, I needed to apologize to somebody. Like that my joy is illegal in some way.
Nope. Unless that joy is at the expense of someone else, then you can apologize to that specific person.
Okay. All right.
Or group of people.
That's good. That's good to know. What if that joy is Amy Poehler with blue hair and yellow skin, and she's hanging out with anger and sadness? I wonder what. You ever see that movie? You ever see the Inside Out?
Yeah, it was cute.
Yeah. Who do you think is? Maybe we talked about this at the time. Who do you think is driving your control panel up in your head? Is it
really?
Anger, sadness?
Do you really think?
Disgust?
Do you really need to ask that
joy?
question?
Yeah, I do.
I'm going to bring up a Lewis Black bit.
Oh.
From way back, because I heard that the FDA has a problem with the fact that soy and almond milk is called almond. It's called that.
Oh, okay.
And I'll bring up a Lewis Black bit from probably 10 years ago, and he's like, "How can they call it soy milk when there's no soy tit?"
Were you watching that movie and just waiting for Anger to say something much more Lewis Black than...
I mean, obviously he wasn't going to do that because it's a fucking kids movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I was hoping.
Did he have a special that came out after that?
Probably.
I would love to... I
think his last one was called Red, White, and Screwed.
I would love to listen, because one of the things I love about the Patton special, the Patton Oswalt special that came out after Ratatouille, is him talking about the experience of having made Ratatouille and how that fucked up Halloween for him. And I wonder whether or not Lewis Black would have something to say about having been in a Disney or Pixar movie.
Well, I mean, I think Patton should be fired from everything because he probably said something that pissed off one person one time.
Well, yeah,
I'm joking.
You think he's ever said anything that pissed anybody off?
Yes.
Oh.
I mean, probably earlier in his career, he probably probably was
Probably
way
said- yeah.
way more subversive.
I would imagine. Yeah. He probably
When he was
made-
doing like fucking open mics in Virginia, like,
and made a lot of twunks feel very.
and his brother is fucking crazy on fucking Twitter.
His brother is, yep. His brother is a treat. I think
Yes.
you were the one to tell me to follow his brother way back in the day.
Yeah, like
Um,
Matt Oswald is a gem in this world. Like both the Oswald brothers are both
Yeah.
like they're c'est magnifique.
Is that French?
Yes.
I like French.
Oh yes.
It sounds.
You know where they speak French?
In French.
The French.
The French.
Up there in Canada. Up there
Canada.
in
Canada. You saw a sign in Canada once.
so long that I was hanging out with Leo this weekend, and we were talking about inevitably when Brian, Leo, and I our trip to Canada back in like 2004.
Yeah.
Like whenever Leo and I get together, that inevitably will come up or something.
Right.
And so we talked a little bit about it, and I completely had forgot about it. This was like something that I had seen times before I had gone up,
Yeah.
but it was this sign that it's a picture of a can with the red like circle and then the line through it, like
Yeah.
the no smoking sign, and then underneath there was a $500 written, and then there was a gavel next to it.
Okay. So sorry. So you got a can.
Yeah.
And you got the no can
Yeah.
sign. Okay. $500 and a gavel.
Yep. So
Nice.
what the way we took it was, don't litter or else we'll hit you with a $500 hammer.
You think Mjolnir is a $500 hammer? You think?
I think it costs way more than that.
I mean, it was forged in the heart of a dying star by
A little big person.
by what's his name? The Lannister, Tyrion,
Yeah.
giant Tyrion.
But another thing that because I texted Brian today because we were just talking about shit, and he was like, there was like, I think that from what I remember, because like he mentioned Canadian skydiving, which it took me a little bit to remember, but like when we went during spring break, and it was fucking March, and it was fucking really, really, really cold.
Yeah.
And I think Canadian skydiving was us jumping into snowbanks.
From any particular height, or just...
It wasn't from like a great height. It was
Okay.
from like right next to the snowbank.
All right. Well, yeah.
If I recall correctly, Brian, you can email and try to elaborate if I am incorrect. You already know the email, but I'll say it again for everybody else. hot@clarkwoods.com.
Yeah. So the Canadian skydiving. I thought it was going to be like a Polish joke type thing, like it wasn't really skydiving, and I guess it really isn't. You're saying it's diving into a snowbank.
Yeah, it was just we were doing something in Canada.
Yes.
And we just put Canadian in front of it.
What other things can you do in Canada that you can put Canadian in front of?
I remember the first time I went there. I was just sort of saying, this is the first time I'm doing X in a foreign country. So I was like, I don't think I took a shit the first time I was there, but I think I definitely pissed, and I'm like, this is the first time I'm pissing.
This is Canadian pissing.
In Canadian pissing.
Canadian pissing. Is Canadian pissing any different? Do you find?
If it's outside on a snowbank that your friend is about to jump on.
Did you do that? Did you,
No, I don't.
That was
I
never
don't-
the precursor to
I don't
Canadian
believe so.
skydiving? Yeah.
Why do I smell like piss?
Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. What about Canadian
Bacon?
Canadian bacon? I've never. It's ham, right? Isn't it fucking ham?
It's back bacon, so it's the bacon off the back of the pig.
Okay, as opposed to the other bacon is.
I don't know where the bacon I don't know the anatomy of a pig well
Oh.
enough, but like the butt I know the butt is the best meat, the tenderloin.
Okay, my mind is in the gutter.
The numbers part, that's what I like. Some butt meat.
The butt is the best meat.
It is.
Somebody's gonna isolate that someday.
And I'm gonna get fired.
Oh man!
But
not for 10 years.
Oh yeah, people are gonna be like, oh, "We listened to episode 204 of your podcast that you have like 500 episodes of."
You said something like the fucking butt meat was the best meat, and I'm offended by that.
And I'm offended because meat isn't eaten anymore 10 years in the future.
Yeah, and we don't eat each other's butts anymore either. Hey, you could find the show notes if we still did that. But, hey, you can send us an email if you have an opinion on butt meat or anything else we've said in the show. It's hot@clarkwoods.com.
Yeah, I already said it several times, so hopefully it's a reminder enough that people will fucking listen.
And if you like the show, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Stitcher or wherever the fuck you get your
if you're listening to it, like just however many is the max amount.
Yes.
Of stars.
37
or,
stars.
You know.
In a row.
Yeah, put that many stars. Mm-hmm. And then leave us a teeny message. Sometimes when I listen to this show in Canada, I piss myself.
Mm.
So that's Canadian piss my